So I told y'all I would be back today, and I'm going to try to speak a little bit clearer for you all. Because after I went back and reviewed some of the videos, and a couple of videos that I did earlier, you guys couldn't understand me, and I apologize. So, what this video is going to be about is the fact of how and why I found Michele Lee, and just to give you a little bit of background about me. So, I was born with a disorder called hemophacial microcephaly. And this disorder causes a lot of different things. It causes like my facial structure, neurological back issues, all that good stuff. Welcome on in. I don't know who's here. If you could say in the chat, that would be great. Let me go to YouTube. Anyway, so I was born with this disorder to my parents, who were both in their. My mom was 34, 34, my dad was 32. So I dealt with a lot of surgeries growing up. I want to say that I had an adult. I want to say that I had that I had an adult brain before I had before I was a teenager, due to all the surgeries that I had. I was having surgeries that lasted anywhere between 8 to 10.5 hours. And in the middle of all that, before I actually turned, in my teen years, before I turned 13, we lost my dad, who was unalived by cancer. And so therefore, we had to, I was a lot to deal with. So I was not only dealing with the medical aspect, but I was also dealing with the grief aspect. And with my dad, his installment or his gift to me was traditional country music. I'm talking Miss Loretta Lynn, Conway Twitty, Hank Williams, Porter Wagner, Dolly Parton, all of these wonderful, wonderful performers. So, we lost my dad in 93. And that was the same year that I found the incredible, the incomparable Michele Lee. I found her not through Knots Landing, but I found her through 2 movies. One was When No One Would Listen, which is a wonderful, wonderful movie about coming out of domestic violence, and how what I got out of it is if one is not careful, then it could end tragically. I don't know if anyone's seen the movie or not, but I'm not going to spoil it. But it was just something that it just told the whole aspect of it. Like, it told the aspect of, standing your ground law. That was basically what the movie was about. Stand your ground. Basically, her husband used something to attack someone, and it became law within their state. And so not only were they dealing with that, but they were also dealing with domestic violence upon the wife and the husband. And so she left, took her kids, went into a shelter to be safe. And when and then she ended up finding someone who I thought, she was gonna end up with. However, that did not happen. But like I said, I'm not gonna spoil it. But I think you kind of get it. So that movie was incomparable. It's a movie that anytime it's on, I stop and watch, along with the Broderick story. Okay? So those two movies, anytime they're on, I watch no matter what. The second movie that I found Michele Lee in, and it was a completely different aspect of her acting career. And that was Big Dreams, Broken Hearts, the Dottie West story. And she did an amazing job. Don't tell Dottie's family, but Michele sang no songs better than Dottie. I'm just saying. Her voice is just smoother, I think, and that's why I prefer Michele's version. Is a little bit more smoother. Um, Maybe it's because she didn't have the accent that Miss West had. But so I would watch that. I actually had it on video and DVD. I think I had it on DVD, but I had it on the VHS tape, and I would have a marathon. So I would put in Coal Miner's Daughter, Sweet Dreams, and then Big Dreams and Broken Hearts. So that's what I would do. So that is how I found Miss Michele Lee. Now, the mass landing of it all. I actually got a DVD set of the first season of Mass Landing. I don't know how, I don't know why, but I never watched it. I got several DVDs sets that I never watched. I think, um, yeah, they're just random DVDs that were coming to me. And so I looked at it and I'm like, oh, this kind of looks weird. I wasn't sure about it. And then I found out that it was a spinoff of Dallas, which Dallas I would watch with my grandparents whenever I stayed the night with them, especially after we lost my dad. So Dallas was a huge part of my life. Dynasty was a huge part of my life. And I always say that I I'm older in my brain than I was when I was younger because of everything that I went through and all the medication, the grief, the um everything like that. It kind of made me grow up faster. So I always say that these movies and these TV shows that I watch probably shouldn't have been watching them at my age. Like, I wasn't even a teenager that. A teenager, I don't think a 11, 10, 11-year old should not be watching when no one would listen. And I would say the Dodgy West story as well. I, but my mom let me watch the Lifetime movies and the when no one would listen, and the Betty Broderick story, and so on and so forth. And I think a lot of that had to do with the fact that after my surgeries, I did spend a lot of time in my parents' bedroom, so I was always exposed to things I probably wasn't supposed to be exposed to at different ages. Um, so I was an adult before I was a teen, if that makes any sense whatsoever. I hope you guys understand me? I hope you guys are able to hear me and know what I'm saying. I'm not seeing anybody chatting. I do see that there are two people in the chat, but I don't see anyone saying hello. So I hope you guys can hear me. So this year, I am working from home, and I was like, oh, I saw Knots on TV, and I was like, oh, maybe I should give this a whirl. So I started watching Knots, and then I got to season 3 when Karen lost her husband. And that broke so many barriers down, that broke my grief down, that broke, it almost brought me right back to when we lost my dad, because rather it wasn't the same situation, but they gave my dad 4 months, he lasted 4 weeks. So kind of quickly the loss of it all. So I kind of put myself into her children's, into the children's and how they felt. And then I also put myself in Karen's character because I saw what my mom went through, and I was like, oh, if only I had, if only I had a mom that was like that. Because when we lost my dad, we lost a little bit of my mom too, and she was not as proactive as Karen. She did not um, engage in life really after the loss of my dad. So with that, let's see, I'm doing something. So with that loss and with that aspect of losing Sid, I was like, oh wow. So now I can't bring myself to go back to season 1. So I'm hoping with this channel, and if you guys can hear me, and if you guys can understand me, I am hoping to do a reaction of all the episodes of Knots Landing. And also, I'm going to throw in reactions to episodes of comedy. Because with that comedy, I think it would balance out the Knots Landing of it all. So I'm thinking maybe to do Designing Women or do Woman of the House first and then go back to Designing Women because Woman of the House is shorter. So I would like for you guys to tell me what you would like me to react to or just talk about, debrief, deconstruct. I'm also going to maybe throw in a little bit of psychoanalysis in it. I do have a master's in social work, and I did take, classes, and I do have that background, as well as I have what's known as high sensitivity person, and that's due to my disorder, with my brain not wired completely correctly. So I'm just a little bit more sensitive, I'm a little bit more empathetic, I'm a little bit more, basically I take on other people's emotions, and when I do that, I feel like I am just like so run down, and that goes for TV shows and TV plot lines, and I think that's also why I can't go back really to season 1 through season 3 because of those plot lines. Now I am on season 5, the second to last episode where Gary is still alive, and I can watch those episodes, but it's just the ones with Sid, and then right after Sid that I'm having a hard time with getting back to, just because of the correlation between my life and the loss of Sid. And I'm really surprised that I can handle Diana's surgery as well because of all the surgeries that I've been through. That kind of surprises me. But I think my brain just chooses what it wants to focus on, and then it just kind of stays in that loop where I want to loop seasons 4 through 9. But I kind of want to get out of that because I want to get past season 9 so I can see what happens. Because I did watch Back to the Cul-de-sac. I was kind of disappointed in that. kind of disappointed. I didn't see a lot of the Mac and Karen connection of it all that we see in seasons 4 through 9. And I'm just afraid that if I go past season 9, that that's also going to be the case, as I did some research on um, the Mac and Karen and Kevin and Michelle, and how they would just add lib and make the scenes a little bit more interesting and more authentic. And when we get to those episodes, I'll point those out because I do research on these episodes. So I don't see any comments. Um, so for the two people that are here, do you have any thoughts and concerns, or are you just working in the bushes? Um, or should I just do karma? I don't really want to do karma. I don't like karma. I want to stay out of karma. If I don't, it's the whole nastiness of it all. I don't want to do. I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to deal with true crime. And so I think this is a good way for me to go into to kind of start making content on a more regular basis. And I would really like to work on this. So I hope you all will join me in this endeavor and endeavor endeavor. That's the other thing, I cannot pronounce certain words correctly, so I do apologize if that bugs you, but I'm just gonna kind of do it. Think of me as another gossip on the internet, but I'm not doing true crime. I'm just talking about Knots Landing, where I think Knots Landing needs a little bit more, a little bit, it needs to get out there more because I think that it is more relatable, and I think a lot of people are craving it for the times. It's just something that it's a show that stands the test of time, and we're in these rough, tough times, and I think we all just need to feel like home. And honestly, when the two movies that I mentioned in the beginning, when no one would listen and Big Dreams and Broken Hearts, that feels like home for me. And now that I'm finding Knots Landing is also home for me. And I did leave a comment on Miss Lee's Instagram, and I did tell her that, you feel like home because I always felt a connection, or whenever she played Dottie, I was like singing along with her. I was like, and when no one would listen, my heart just went out to her, and I took on her emotions and would just get chills during the difficult scenes. If anyone knows where I can watch these two movies, that would be great. Because I did lose them when I moved. So if anyone has any idea on where I can watch the movies, that would be great. And again, I want anybody there, come on, say hello. I hope you all say hello. It's been quiet on I have my YouTube app on my phone and I'm not seeing any comments. So, um, can you guys understand me clearly? I, I would really like to know. If you guys can put a 1 in chat, if you can understand me, you don't have to say anything else, just put a 1. Um, that would be great. If not, that's fine. Um, I'm hoping to gain a little bit more traction. I'm gonna do these recaps live, for the time being, just to kind of build up my channel and see what we can get. So I just kind of wanna do it that way. Um, I don't know what else to talk about. I'm also gonna do some. No, I'm just gonna stick to TVs and TV reviews now from now on. For now, I think that's what I want to do. I think I'm gonna do naps. I'm gonna try and do a live every day and recap one episode of Natsland in a day. I'm gonna go through, write down the plot lines and do research on it, and then just kind of like give you guys a little bit of the background and also my thoughts on knots and how I think it can be related to today's times. So I'm gonna end this here because I do have to run an errand. So I hope you all will join me on this little adventure that I'm going on, and we can have fun with it. So I would like for you guys to leave comments and suggestions below this video. And I also put in the description the podcast We're Not Done Yet. So go check that out with Michele Lee, Donna Mills for right now. And we're hoping that Joan Van Ark will come back on the podcast um, when she feels better. Anyways, I hope you all have a great day. Happy weekend, happy Saturday, and enjoy the weather wherever you're at. Thank you for watching the 2 viewers that I have. And I hope you guys have a good day. Bye. I hope you watch Knots Landing. Go watch it. Go watch it. Go watch it. Bye, guys. Bye, guys. Have fun. Oh, sorry, I'm new at this.